where it's like a beware the Chen kind of thing. We saw VP run it earlier today. They lost the game, but it felt like a game they were in control of, should have won. EG's had success in 2 different games with the Chen, so a hero that is on team's mind right now, because it felt like when people saw this new patch, it was like, oh, we can't play junglers anymore. I mean, you said it as well, and I was agreeing with you, like playing junglers on this patch seems a bit weak because of the changes to the jungle and how much people are contesting that offlane, but it can still be done. EG have shown it.
Yeah, and they'll always go for the Dominator build. Pretty much you always have some other mech carrier, so they just go for Dominator and Aghanim Scepter, so that's +1 more creep, then you can get Ancient Creeps, and it's a whole army.
All right, well, it actually looks like we already have our first draft, so let's get into it. It's the start of our winner bracket final, best of 3. Blue versus green, Sharks versus Destroyers, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be good Dota. Leading out early, Evil Geniuses, getting rid of the fireman himself, Ember Spirit, who's had a pretty damn good successful tournament so far. Not surprised to see that. OG, getting rid of the Wisp. Now, Underlord out there, your Lunas, your Shadow Demons, all have to be considered.
EG has to get rid of Shadow Demon or Luna, one of those two, or not.
Or not. It's funny because the SD Luna's definitely fallen off, but OG's still a team who will for sure pick the Shadow Demon, maybe less so the Luna, but they really prioritize those defensive saving supports, which is the Dazzle. That's a ban from EG. Perhaps they're worried more about like the armor strategies that the Dazzle brings to the table, but with Shadow Demon still in the pool, look at that as a kind of top pick, and at least for OG, maybe less so for EG.
OG is probably going to remove that Underlord that I would not like to play
unless they feel confident they can beat it.
Which seems to be the case now.
I mean, one of the things, if you know a team likes the ball, they're not going to pick it, they're going to snag the Shadow Demon. If you know a team plays a hero like Underlord, and they're always picking it every single draft, you can at least kind of prepare like a lane you want to verse it. And it's almost like you'd rather verse the beast you know than the beast you don't know.
OG, we didn't see them playing the 7-0 patch since they only played in
qualifiers, yeah, and they weren't even a full team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
This band, by the way. This is like the team with the best Earth Spirit player in the world saying, "You guys have first pick. I know you're going to take this, and we're just going to ban it out."
Yeah, that is intriguing. But Crit's right up there too. I mean, Jarex is great, but Crit is like right there too.
Like here above everyone, I think.
No one touches Jarex when it comes. Crit, I think, even tweeted himself about that. So. But
here we go. Very valuable first pick in consideration here from a little bit of game out. Now we take a lot under.
Normally you like prepare a draft coming to game 1. The fact they're already going to reserve time makes me think Fly is being caught by surprise. Not to say he has been outdrafted by a Shadow Team, but he was expecting that to probably be the Underlord. Like in his mind, when he thought about the bans and what's going to happen, he wasn't expecting a first pick Shadow Demon from EG.
Yeah.
What I think of is they picked Shadow Demon because OG likes to play both of these illusion heroes, Terrorblade and the Naga Siren.
Mm-hmm.
True.
We'll take the
okay, they might be a Luna, actually.
We got Rubik Luna. Yep.
Nice call. Rubik Luna. Going to be the pick up there.
So EG, the Underlord's still in the pool. It's been their go-to. Whether they feel like it's still going to work against OG, that's a team that can secure their safe lane if they need to. Rubik Luna, 2 very strong laning heroes, so maybe the Underlord they feel might be a bit too risky for them here.
Well, they got a good push, but they can go aggressive tri-lane with those 2 +1, and stealing a spell from Shadow Demon, and you have extra illusions for your Luna.
Curious to see EG's response. Obviously, them very familiar with Luna, but yeah, something slipped through, something fished right by everyone, and it's going to be the Slardar.
Flexible because it can be support or offlane. Like I don't think Universe when I see a Slardar, I think more maybe a 4-position hero, but EG leave it open.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when I think of Universe, I don't think of Slardar very often.
Yeah. Could do like a dual lane with this, like a Darkseer Slardar type lane. Underlord's not really like the dual laning kind of offlane, or at least not with a Slardar, but I'd look to like a Darkseer ban coming out potentially from OG. Now the Lifesteal, obviously the perfect pair with the Slardar, no brainer when it comes to banning that hero.
And something obviously Arteezy has been playing a lot of, having a lot of success with. Seems like a no-brainer ban right there.
The other big hero for EG, which they've been really dominant with, on the Dire side especially, is Sumail's Templar Assassin. He's incredibly good on this hero. I'd say like the best TA player right now. He uses that Dire side with the Ancient Camp right by the mid lane, as on both sides really well. There's a shrine right next, so you can Ancient while using the shrine, and then there's the other Ancients, which is right by Bounty Rune. He's so efficient. He outfarms everyone when he plays TA on the Dire side. I imagine that's a hero OG.
Yeah,
when you see Slada minus Sama, you're definitely worried about the TA.
Very true.
Nice. Oh, nice. Any DPS that hits, like Nikes, TA.
Weaver's another hero we've seen OTZ play.
Very true. Now they will give the nod to taking out Mr. Shadow Friend.
I think strategically, there's so many heroes EG can play that can cause problems. OG have to be focused, like, what is our draft going to do? Like, you can't ban all those heroes. You can't ban the Weaver and the TA, as well as, like, the Darkseid, which can contest your lanes. You have to think, how are we going to win? They do ban the Darkseid, but they can't ban the other two now. They're going to be up against a physical damage draft, most likely. They need to think what they can put together. And now you can see a big reason why the Dazzle was banned, because Dazzle would have been a fantastic pick against, like, a Slada TA type draft or a Slada Weaver type draft. You'd love to have a Dazzle, and it's not available.
All of EG players are really versatile, so we can expect pretty much anything from them. So they have such a big hero pool, every one of them.
Yeah, I mean, normally we've seen some other teams even fall back on something like a Sven to help bulk up all that armor, but already, of course...
Support Sven was played in one game.
I mean, I wasn't going to go that far, but...
you know, it's the kind of... If they go all in on physical damage, the kind of pick that is definitely has its merits, but... It's not what you think of.
Yeah, so you got to think of what other ways they can try to bulk up in the armor department a bit.
As for position 4 hero or EG, I'm seeing a Leshrac.
You are?
Yeah, it's some Shadow Demon combo, if it's not position 4 Slardar, but...
Gives them some push as well.
Yeah, push.
And they've liked the Leshrac quite a bit.
Fans out on the Clockwork. We saw a wonderful performance from S4 Clockwork on day 1.
Huh.
But as we know, he still has Batrider and
Centaur.
I like the idea of the Centaur against a team that's going to be running at you, trying to take you on with their physical damage. Centaur is fairly appealing.
Yeah, once the Centaur gets that Aghanims, he can just turn around the fight. We saw that in the game, 2 games before.
Reserve time.
See what I have in mind.
Maybe an Ogre or that Centaur.
OG also could be just as flexible. We know Jarek's played a lot of that Rubik, but I will tell you, a time way back, I believe it was like during the TI5 time, like qualifiers, Fly was playing on Complexity, was their support player, and he had a wonderful Rubik showing during that run, so it's something that could be handed off between either of them if they wanted to ramp up a secondary aggressive support, let's say. But for now, holding on and continuing to work through that clock, man.
The other 4 position hero I've seen quite a bit is Pudge. I think it could work for either team.
You are right.
Those offlane pulls are very strong. Ooh, I like this.
Legion Commander coming out now.
Good against the minus armor and just a tanky hero in general.
Last appearance to LC, though, was yesterday, and did not find success really in any of her games.
Yeah, we saw Moon struggle. I think S4 played it 1 game, maybe going back to day 1.
Yeah, and Ortiz played 1 game as well. It also didn't turn out well for them. It was a safe lane Legion. Really
I want to say she's
odd to see.
Not really had success this tournament.
Yeah.
But they're finding success, obviously being able to purge off the amp damage will be nice.
Purge off amp and also clear illusions too.
Of course.
You don't know what those illusions are going to be just yet, but there is a Shadow Demon on the enemy team. You can make lunar illusions. You can pick some kind of illusion carry if you want. So, see EG reveal a bit more of their hand now, since this will reveal whether Slada is an offlaner or a support perhaps, or we'll see like a mid or a carry pick here.
Yeah, since, I don't know, does EG play Naga?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Arteezy Naga is a staple for a while.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh, there it is, finally, coming out.
I want to see
Enigma.
I wonder if that's Universe's hero or going to be Crit, because it's the offlane Enigma you've kind of been talking about.
I want it to be an offlane Enigma.
Yeah, and like a support Slada, like full position, maybe pairs up with the Enigma a bit or just roams around, finds wherever it can be useful. Big team fight, it's a mech carrier for the team, and it's a hero that can like sustain a push. And we're going to see some push coming if they go into something like a TA Weaver. You've got good building hitters.
It's really ballsy to play Enigma versus Rubik.
Yeah, I mean, Enigma's got more than 1 spell, but yeah, it is ballsy. I think they're picking it more for like the push aspect and the sustain. Like he's going to be getting the mech, the whatever team items he needs. But yeah, the black hole is not something you want to be giving a Rubik.
Now, forgive me if I missed you guys just talking about it right there, but did you already identify where this Enigma is going? I mean, Zai, Dire side, and jungle Enigma is just fond memory, but also lots of talk of that offlane Enigma.
Yeah, we talked that it could be either offlane
Yeah,
or
okay.
support. It's, I don't know, we kind of lean a bit more. We think that offlane's a bit better, but
Phoenix.
this draft is like, whoa, Enigma, first Enigma of the tournament, first Phoenix of the tournament. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen bans on Enigma. We haven't seen anyone touch Phoenix. How is this a hero?
Fly Phoenix OG. I mean, that's a thing, though. That had been a thing. Long time. Derek seems
Yeah,
to
first time Syllabary.
Game 1, guys. Let's just grab any hero that hasn't had a debut yet and put him out on the stage, you know?
Might be the first lone druid. I can't.
Well,
I know it's been banned against EG in an earlier run, but here it's working out great.
I just love the Syllabary's talent tree. He grows so much.
His right
The way
click
he's
damage.
played, yeah, the way he's played, you just get a Dragon Lance, and after that you can get Mjolnir or whatever you want.
There's
Just
some right
upgrade.
click damage to go with the Slada,
Yeah.
so I think more likely safe lane or the mid lane for the Syllabary.
I think safe lane. And they have a lot of push with Enigma and the Syllabary.
He's also a hero that doesn't need support, because this is something EG often do where they give Arteezy, they've done with Lifestealer, with Jug, likely to with here with the Lone Druid. The supports can roam because Arteezy can play a 1v1 matchup with Lone Druid against Legion, or maybe gets support at level 1, level 2, but once he gets a few levels in like his early items, they leave him completely alone and start making plays around the map.
Yeah, I agree. Shadow Demon and Slaughter are such a deadly combo, and I expect some early smokes coming out from them, because Lone Druid is not gonna need that much of help on a lane.
OG have left their mid to last, which is like a kind of classic thing to do, especially for OG. Okay, we've got the last pick of the draft. Let's see everything EG is doing, and then we find the pick that's going to be the answer to
You
EG.
see, OG thinks it might be mid, it might be a safe lane. Lone Druid, because Juggernaut can work.
Yep, and I think
Also both
they're
ways.
worried about that kind of push where the healing ward, this is like an old alliance thing. They used to Jug with Lone Druid back in the day where Loda would play the Jug, they'd put Bulldog in the offlane Lone Druid and just 5-man push with like Chen, Lone Druid,
Healing ward.
DKs. Yeah, healing ward, Spirit Bear, good luck.
Turn to pick.
Good ban right there. On been known to play a significant amount of DK.
Yep.
We'll get rid of that one.
A lot of physical damage. DK would have been pretty good against that.
Queen of Pain, or Invoker.
Quap, TA was talked about before.
Still like the TA quite a bit. It doesn't mean you're all in on like physical damage. You don't have much magic damage at that point.
Might also be a safe lane hero.
That's true.
Yeah, we're kind of past the point of trying to accurately predict these heroes, but hey, you got the Quap. Just
now-
with all these new faces.
Yeah, now OG, they get that, they see everything coming their way and it's like, all right, what works for mid lane? What can Anna play to turn this around? And
Let's get Puck, Fistful of Tangos action, a little bit of a throwback
No.
right there.
there's like the OD as well.
OD, I'm seeing OD.
OD has some good save, has like you buy the 4 stuff, you've got some good mobility to get away from.
From, Shadow Demon Slaughter, you can just force them out.
And if your teammate gets gone on by a Slada Blink Crush, it's like you can Astral them. It's definitely a nice pick, but they want something more explosive. The Invoker.
I can handle explosive.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see this. Both
Wow,
these drafts.
This is a great draft
matchups
for
are
both
awesome.
teams. Yeah, this is going to be. I mean, are you going to be even able to pick one or the other?
Enigma. I must go with Enigma. I was cheering for it the whole tournament.
That's true. All right, Black
And
Hole.
The OG Phoenix. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I have any idea how these drafts are going to play out, but I want to give the slight edge to OG with that Phoenix pick.
Sounds good, guys. I'm excited about this one. Everyone else, I'm sure, is too. With that said, why don't we go ahead and throw things out to our casters right now? It's going to be none other than Toby Wan and Merlini.
You know, I'm really torn, Merlini. I'm really torn. I love the OG draft. I think it's going to synergize beautifully, but there's an Enigma on the EG side. What do I do?
Everyone's talking about the Enigma and the Phoenix. I'm looking forward to the Lone Druid. I haven't really seen a ranged Lone Druid in a while, but dude, his talents are ridiculously good for that. 65 damage is a free relic at level 15, which you actually get quite quickly with the Midas, and then also Enigma's talents are really good. The cooldown reduction is his level 15 talents are insanely good, and also the magic resistance is really good because he's often in the front of the fights and being taken out quite often.
I'm wondering whatever happens when Enigma hits level 25.
That 8 demonic conversion Eidolons is probably the worst.
Yeah, yep, I don't disagree. It's a lot of money, but if you're trying to end this game and you're trying to push in with a Lone Druid, up against the Luna.
Luna would love that.
It's a lot of money. A lot of money coming the way of OG. So more than likely the armor But when you do get that 120 gold per minute at level 15, you're going to have everything. Like, you always get that Aghanims upgrade now over on the Enigma. You can be buying everything that your team does desire.
I like the cooldown reduction. You have Eidolons pretty quickly.
15%?
Yeah, and then you also have the black hole, because, you know, you're always waiting for black hole. It's like, okay, we gotta wait for black hole, we gotta wait for black hole, and on top of that, he generally gets, like, mech and arcane
Why
boots.
wait for black hole? If you get 120 gold per minute, you just buy a refresher orb.
Or you could just win more fights, Toby. You're that guy. You are that guy.
Hey, I remember wise words from a man that cannot be named. When we first started talking, like, even like the respawn time, the negative respawn time, it's like, what's the point? If you win the fight the first time around, you never need to respawn. So get the abilities to let you win the fight the first time around.
Sometimes you have to die for the good of the game.
That's not the way I play, man. That's not the way I play.
Could flame you, but I don't want to. Okay.
Yeah,
Phoenix's talents are pretty decent too.
I think we have to like just tag this. Just hello Enigma, but also Enigma the masseuse. He gives really good shoulder rubs, judging by that pose.
His hands look massive. I'd be scared.
They really do. Like, he got remodeled to be more buff.
I can imagine him doing Undying's like funky little dance, taunt dance with that. Just missing a little bit of music.
I can imagine him being Waga's like massage instructor.
Why Waga in particular?
Because Waga is the master of massage.
Does he still give massages? I don't think so. That was old Waga, man.
He needs to be at more events. Hey! I once got a hole this big. What are you gonna do with that, right?
Queen's pose pretty cool too.
She's blind. Why would you do that to yourself? Like, unless she's become some kind of like Jedi.
Cause she's a masochist.
She doesn't want to see.
Queen of
She doesn't want
pain.
to see what she does. Is that horrific? Brilliant.
Well, it can let her feel the pain a little bit better, right? It's supposed to heighten your other senses if your eyes are not in use. All right, get this game underway.
That is the greatest thing we could have done. All right, so RG. Nothing going to be unusual from these guys, so we'll expect the same kind of lane. So S4, the Legion Commander in the off lane, been absolutely amazing this weekend. Anna will take the Invoker, the Comfort mid for the Australian, no talent to the bottom lane. And then because we have our movement supports Fly, bringing back some of his classics, you can almost say it was reborn. His Phoenix for Fly, and then Jirax, Rubik, look for his timing, his positioning in the fights. And it's Arteezy who gets to hold on to Merlini's favorite hero of the game, the Lone Druid. Zion for Slana, crit on the Shadow Demon, Samael for the mid, and that leaves Universe, who's playing the off-lane Enigma there, Ben.
He has an Iron Talon. He's ready. He's ready to jungle.
He is possibly ready to jungle. And then we get someone else for the off-lane. They actually committed so heavily. So this is something which you've seen in the past against a lot of Enigmas, where you just ward up everything. In this case, they don't touch the die jungle at all. But all of these wards, they're looking to block up the small camps right next to that bottom lane. So if they are planning on doing the off-lane Enigma, they can't get the early farming of the camps, which might actually be exactly what Universe is planning.
I think it's going to slow them down a lot. Normally you can take down one camp in between the 30-second and the 1-minute spawn, but if you have to spend the time to identify that these camps are blocked, you are going to have a pretty rough time. But Universe, he might actually use his Eidolon to scout out. He's parked in the mid lane, so he's most likely going to deny the range creep. And then I'm curious to see where he sends his creeps after that, whether it's to scout the camps or to aid in a little bit of denying in the mid lane.
20 seconds on the clock. We've seen some rune contests before. In fact, we saw it in the last game where Burning kind of didn't have a go their way, but in 10 seconds, Anna might be biting the dust, crits the first man in, and they look for it. S4 is in the neighborhood, but they started off, they need a disruption, they get it, Jirax in the neighborhood, he's gonna need a big AoE stun, and he throws Zai back, the critical one, the man that would have crushed Anna as he'd come out of the disruption. Ends up being 2 runes for EG, it'll be 3 in total once they claim the one in their own jungle. And Universe did not actually scat out with his conversions.
Yeah, he didn't actually deny any creep yet, but he will deny his first one. And he'll kind of be a little bit sad once he sees that there is no camp piercer. Maybe he can actually creep the ancients too. I think it's not that difficult.
He realizes.
Yep.
He realizes the horrible, horrible truth. He has to play the lane.
It's not that bad because you already denied the range creep, but on the flip side, we have No-Tail who already blocked the range creep, and his is dead.
So in this game, we can talk about the range DPS druid.
Yes.
Is this one of these games where you...
Always.
Okay.
I don't think you pick the hero unless you want to go for range
Is there any
DPS.
situation where you still build up on the bear?
I think if you die a lot and you can't afford to go ranged anymore. But I think the talents are just way too good for the range DPS druid.
Smell seems to be roaming around a little bit. He's lost the mid. In fact, it's a pull by Jirax. He's managed to get creep wave up to the dragons.
Yeah, that's rough. It's a rough fly for the mid pullers. Rubik, Pudge, I would say probably the best two at manipulating the mid creep wave. Arteezy also went for the Blightstone and the Orb Venom, a very aggressive lone druid build. No stout on his bear, which certainly helps if you're trying to harass out the offlaner.
He managed to deward one of the camps for Universe. He'll be able to have that at least.
In 1 minute, 15 seconds.
Yeah. It's actually kind of hilarious. Like in 1 minute, that ward times out. So it only meant to block the initial 30 and 1 minute spawn times.
Well, he will finally get some experience at the tower. Quite nice for him.
Interesting just how well, and I really want to see the build on the Enigma.
Soul Ring Arcane Boots. Usually it's Soul Ring Arcane Boots, Mech, and then occasionally Greaves. I don't think he needs Greaves here. But we'll see Pipe a lot, I think, from players like Puppy. Others will go for Blink, BKB.
Nice little harassment tornado from Anna. I thought it was going to go into something else. Jirax was able to find the Invis rune. But Invoker's walking around with Cold Snap. Can still invoke up something else.
He's going for Quad Wex, and there's no Ember Spirit in this game, so I think he's more free to choose in his builds, but Quad Wex is way better for early control, and it's also way better at stopping a Black Hole, which could be a big factor in this game.
That
also,
long-range tornado.
Yeah, long-range tornado. Even Cold Snap is very painful for him to deal with.
That's why I always kind of lean a little bit further towards like the less of the cooldown, the more of the money to get both the BKB, the Aghanims, Blink Dagger. All these items cost so much. Enigma already farms pretty quickly, but you want to have it quicker in this current meta. So I lean towards that. Very safe for the courier. Bottle for Sumail. Also walking around with the Soul Ring recipe for Universe.
Slaughter is not able actually to do that much. He doesn't have an Iron Talon, but he's trying his best to farm out. He hasn't really been able to pressure S4 too much. S4 looks like he's about to use a Shrine with his buddy Jirax right under the Observer Ward. No problem for them. Arteezy still keeping up a fair amount of pressure with this double orb build, or actually not double orb anymore, but double cheap items.
It's a very, very, very passive kind of start to the game across all the lanes.
I think that EG are going to be able to push towers down very quickly, though, and very soon. The Blightstone combined with the Eidolons on the Enigma is going to make quick work of the T1 towers.
Is that going to be enough? Like, that's when you look to see S4, like, he's prioritizing overwhelming odds. That's going to be a lot of D push to come out from him.
Yeah, it doesn't work terribly well versus the Bear, though.
Yeah,
although the Sunray is really good.
But you're not going to keep your creep wave up. You're going to have level 2 Fade Bolt plus having the overwhelming odds. They're really good creep, like wave nukers.
Yeah, it's very hard to kill the Lone Druid though, like when he's pushing.
Oh, top lane, this will be the first blood crush over on S4. Can't press the attack, gets entangled up. Now he will, but it's already too late. The damage is done, and Arteezy will spill the first blood.
That's a root on command right there. Very nice timing with the Savage Roar too, so he couldn't press the attack on himself.
Well, Universe burning a little bit. Gets the Malphus off on No-Tail, and now Zai rotates down the bottom lane. No-Tail looking to go into the tree lines with the extra TP support arriving from Crit. He can actually go. Actually starts off a little bit with a catcher, so No-Tail, yeah, way too deep, and EG actually get their second kill of the game after 4 minutes of silence.
Very difficult to deal with the Enigma Eidolons this early. Luna with her level 1 glaives is just not even close to enough damage to Sumail. A little bit of trouble.
Yeah, pick him up, throw him back in again, but Anna not committing the Cold Snap. Didn't really have a lot of mana to work with, only sitting at 200 of his 470.
Arteezy's actually going for treads, I see. Usually it's a phase boost for more
nice
damage.
crush. Really nice crush from Zai. The problem is he actually had a Sprite on him. So he turned around to actually beat into flying, but it took way too long to get the attack in. 2 points up in those Fire Spirits. Very different to Fly's older build on the Phoenix, where he had prioritized Sunray more.
He did hold his skill points a little bit late just so he could identify what the best skill was for that situation. And it was indeed the Fire Spirits.
His way of keeping Universe and the conversions off the lane.
Yeah, but Universe is still having a pretty good time in terms of leveling. He's level 5 despite having 2 of his camps blocked early on, so still pretty good laning phase from him.
Do you look for rotations from Universe? Like, most of the offlaners we've been watching of late have been rotating pretty quickly.
I think you just gank his lane, which is what they're doing.
So you just bring the SD and Slaughter?
You always pressure the Luna if you can in the early game, and they have the right heroes to do so, because Phoenix is not that great of support. Rubik constantly roaming around, so it's pretty much just a solo Luna. Radiant has you scanned, they know exactly what's going on down here, and Luna will TP out. Very common move for No Tail.
Okay. A lot of aggression coming out the top lane too when No-Tail and Jirax are ready to push. Actually completely abandoned, alright. Cool.
I think he's worried about the same thing that No-Tail's worried about, just like a mass rotation into the enemy safe lane and then take down the tower, but looks like there'll just be a tower trade without any sort of deaths happening on either side. But
it's not even really a trade-off. The three-way for the Radiant side's not there yet.
They don't have good pushing heroes unless the Luna's there, but Luna's already kind of going towards the mid lane.
Universe just started his TP underneath the tower, so OG, if they saw it, they'll know it's on cooldown. I'm wondering if they were considering sending him up, or if it's just a misclick.
Mid lane, Sumail's positioned quite nicely on the right side.
He's got Scream and Sonic Wave. It commits both! Finds a very quick pop on Ana. He's got a haste route available. Gonna trigger it, bottle up quickly. No one charge available. Fly turning on the Sunray. Sumail needs a movement speed to get away, but he's actually ticking down. Bottle charges. He's got enough to survive. Getting away with murder right under the noses of the other OG heroes. Meanwhile, Arteezy has taken that bottom tier 1 tower. More money going into that lone druid, who's now going to come up to the top lane to try and defend the tier 1 as well.
Sumail knowing how to push those limits. No raindrops on the Invoker made that kill a certain possibility for the Queen of Pain. He'd have to be like extremely quick with the tornado to stop that kill from happening, but pretty much Sumail landed 2 of his spells at once and the right click, almost all at the same time.
Quick and efficient. We expect nothing else from Sumail. That's why we love it when he plays heroes like Queen of Pain as opposed to Sniper. You have that flashy kind of play that allows him to really showcase his talents. OG's moving up to the top lane. The Observer Ward actually saw the Courier headed a little bit further north, delivering the Tranquil boots into the Slaughter, who's now going to roam around.
They know what's happening though. Crit's in the middle lane. He has an Observer Ward behind the tower, so he knows that no one's there. Sumail's beating on it. They know that 5 heroes are on the top lane. They don't have to use a scan to identify this.
Yep, that's why Zai disappears. Running in behind the tower, who's coming up? So Ana, right on top of the Observer Ward. I'll also see that TP arrive, so Fly reveals himself for a moment, and Zai's kind of in no man's land. He doesn't have sprint available. He's got his crush, but with the Cold Snap and now the Sun Ray, he's going to put on sprint. He needs more movement speed, but Jirax is there, and S4 is too. So the first duel of the game, and S4, well, he is a winner.
No-Tail's able to farm up top lane alone. He puts a tower down by himself, so OG striking back with a tower of their own.
Meanwhile, Universe was attacking the bottom tier 2, brought it down by a third of its life to level 7 on that Enigma, and he is going to go as his first major item into the mech.
I think it's really nice to be able to fight the Luna head on. Normally what you're worried about against the Luna is them 5-manning and just pushing with the Eclipse and the Lunar Blessing to back up their 5-man. But with the Enigma and the mech and the Black Hole threat, which kind of minorly countered by Rubik, but I wouldn't say he's such a big threat, I think that EG actually has a slightly stronger 5-man too, especially because they can combo that with a Roar immediately afterwards. So that's like a good 6-7 seconds to disable, even, and that's pending they survive the Queen of Pain burst.
S4, the crush is going to miss from Zai. That was so important. Sumail will jump forward, but he realizes committing any kind of slow, the Shadow Strike would be pointless. A quick press the attack and S4 would get away.
And he goes for the Veil again on the Queen of Pain. I think the armor is very useful. There's no Slaughter on the opposite team, which is kind of usually when you'll see it picked up, but he's kind of the only one that does like significant amounts of magic damage on his team, but it's pretty good.
Notel's trying to use his dominated creep to try and force Arteezy away, but Arteezy gets the root on command once again, and Notel, Arteezy has the damage. Jirax moving over, Arteezy starts his TP, but Telekinesis is there, picking up the lone druid, pulling it back in. Tornado from Ana as well, and Arteezy dies from the fall.
Pretty rough for both Notel and Arteezy, but I think it's more important that the Luna is kept down than the Lone Druid. Lone Druid's already farming up quite well, almost has his Dragon Lance and his level 10, which is, I think, when he's going to start hitting a lot harder. And also EG are just pressuring the towers like way more and farming up the jungle with Universe on the bottom lane, constantly occupying that.
Thanks to that Observe Ward they have up next to their shrine. They know exactly where Zai moved over, and that's why Ana picks him up, throws him down. Colsam survivable, S4's moving over. Duel is up, Crit already starts the destruction, and Zai, so low on life, burns out to the EMP. EG knew they weren't going to fight that. On top of a shrine that hadn't been triggered yet, that's almost suicide at this point of the game to do it. But OG had the slider down, so now they push.
Yeah, Zai's been in a couple of awkward positions. Let's see if Crit can get the disruption. It's up in 6 seconds, but he's trying to scout them out with the Hellbear Smasher. He knows exactly where he is. Jerax could lift him up right now.
Well, there's some out disruption, catcher. So over on S4, in comes Zai from the rear. Jirax will pick him up and actually throw him into the fight and into the Eclipse and duel of S4. They have the damage output, and with the Sunray, Universe will burn as well. It was Ana who had the damage. Jirax on the run. That last attack in from the Lone Druid. It's more than enough damage to find it. It is a 2-for-1 trade-off. OG hold the lines, and with this Luna still here, they want to keep pushing. The tier 1 tower's low.
Dies in all these really strange positions where he just immediately dies at the start of the fight. They did have to commit Eclipse to him, but that's perfectly okay. And Enigma, I think, got mana burn, possibly, but the EMP didn't have enough mana to even think about casting a black hole over there.
I think he also understood he was never going to get it off. With Invoker freely moving around, Cold Snap and Tornado, it's too much.
Yeah, the Invoker's been doing a pretty good job of trying to keep them in check with the early Quas Wex build, and he's also transitioning quite well with Midas almost up in 500 gold, but EG, they want to strike mid, take down this T1.
Doesn't even have the intimidation of something like Amplification. Samael in through the rear. Okay, he's got a lot of movement speed with that haste rune. Can they duel? No, S4 couldn't get it off in time. So they turn on the Sunray. There's a quick little dispel. Samael's in trouble, no longer hasted. And Ana really doing work. 5-1 on this Invoker.
Yeah, he's doing really well. S4 trying to take down the bear, but still has 800 HP left. Yeah, that dispel on the haste certainly sealed Sumail's fate there.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
I think he's kind of lucky that he didn't get dueled. Press the attack came out from Legion Commander, maybe a little bit greedy on that. He does have the Blink Dagger already, so he is starting to get out of control on S4 and just kind of threatening any sort of split push that EG want to bring.
So that wonderful bonus duel damage he's gotten. Like, you're 13 minutes in, you've already got plus 20. Like, I know it starts to like skyrocket as the game goes later.
Yeah, and he's really good at dealing with the corrosive haze on the Slardar. I really like that dispel ability. Before, people used to pick Abba, but Abba's not really popular nowadays. I'll see a much more appropriate pick, and it also just buffs up the Luna, because normally you just want to all in on the Luna at the start of the fight, but not this game.
Nope, if you do that, then press the attack, and then she'll fight back harder and more regenerated. At EG, it's sneaky business time. The Radiant actually scanned, and well, Crit comes up to plant the ward, and it actually triggered the scan. So OG have the choice now. Either they're thinking it's a smoke gank, or they could just send a purge creep, and they'll find out. In they go into the pit. They know Roshan. He is being done, so S4 jumps over. That's a big overwhelming odds onto EG. They already have to quit the mech for the EMP Tornado. It catches 3 plus a bear. Universe already very low on mana. The Savage Roar trying to create a little bit more space. Notel having to fight hard against himself with that catcher. Notel's almost going down. The bear moves forward. Samael capitalized on the moment. And Universe, if only he had mana, he would turn around onto S4. The Deafening Blast pushing him out. S4, one more attack with the help of Ana. They'll find the kill. Stick charges for S4. He's got press the attack so he can turn this around if he wants to get rid of that miss on Invoker, but it won't happen. He'll die too soon. And Arteezy in range form. It's so much damage. Somehow back to the front lines too. So much mana. He's got the regeneration up thanks to the bottle charge that was still available. Arteezy onto the triple kill, but Jirax walking straight back down the lane with the Observe Ward. They caught a glimpse and the double attacks. Arteezy is a cannon. We're getting an ultra kill with the fight. And now we can go back to finish what they started.
Look at the
Roshan,
damage.
but OG is spawning up soon.
That damage recap for the fight, he did 3,000 damage. Next highest person was Queen with 800. Queen of Pain actually missed a lot of spells there, missing the Scream, and he was able to get off the ult on Phoenix because of the missed wave. But yeah, the amplified damage and the Blightstone on the Lone Druid, he actually just destroys them. It's like a Weaver on steroids in terms of just damage output along with the Stardar. And that's normally a big problem with heroes like Lone Druid with a massive attack range and Sniper. Sometimes you don't have enough vision. Sniper has his shrapnel, but sometimes you'll lose track of him with the Lone Druid. You attack for way more than you can see at the nighttime. That's what your bear's there for.
He's literally a walking ward with life.
Yep. And he has Savage Roar in case anyone tries to get close. That's a big problem I foresee in OG's lineup. They can't actually get on top of the Lone Druid. Last time I saw Lone Druid played was ESL, where they had a Ember Spirit and a Wraith King. You just jump in on the Lone Druid and you'd kill his bear if they try to use his bear to scout themselves out. But this game, they don't have enough burst for the bear, nor do they have a good way to jump on him. Phoenix is the only one with really high mobility. I guess a Legion Commander too, but if you duel him, he's just gonna get disrupted. Your team's gonna get hold. He'll Savage Roar. The rest of the heroes following up, and he can't be the only one in the middle of the fight.
Really smart from EG. They knew something was happening, but they just confirmed it with the scan. Realizing OG was moving up through the north entrance, north of the Roshan pit into the entrance of their jungle. So they just back up, group up together. They still would love to have Roshan, but the Purge Creep is watching it closely.
Yep. They could idle on it, I suppose.
Possibly. But that could also not work out once you have overwhelming odds. Legion Commander just pop in through the back.
Yeah, they're scared. The Phoenix is also really tough to fight around the pit. I haven't seen too many Phoenixes in this patch, but I'm sure that he's still as strong in this around this pit as the last pit. There's plenty of places he can perch his egg, and
the only difference is he can't put it on like the very edge, because the edges were removed from Roshan's pit, which is more of like yeah.
I think the Lone Druid is actually a pretty good way to kill the egg. Like normally you'll see like magic immune heroes or heroes that can dispel, like Slark, Juggernaut, I would say are the main egg killers that you'll see. But Lone Druid with his high attack range and tons of attack speed from the Rabid and his build, he's going to be able to destroy that egg from a very safe distance. So they have to somehow try and keep him in check.
EG advancing forward. Crit's looking for that opening. If he can get a disruption over on Ana, that would be a nice thing. Jirak starts his TP. Out just in time. These observe wards from EG and now watching the rotation. Fly. Turning on the Sunray. They can't even kill the Purge Creep and the Bear. They know it doesn't have a lot of life, so it's just walking basically money. Universe purged up, can't get in close. Luna, however, really taking a pummeling. And she'll go down the Eclipse. Only one beam was able to explode. Fly with this stun. They turn on the Sunray, but he'll be stranded out here. The Lone Druid Bear, the thing which is probably more fragile than anything else in EG, will survive while Luna and Phoenix fall.
OG were in a pretty good position there, right next to the shrine, but no one actually triggered the shrine while Luna was getting beat down. I think she was rooted or feared or stunned or just pretty much anything that EG could throw at her, but she wasn't able to pop the shrine at all. And I think they started popping when she was at like 10-15%, but by that time the fight's already over. If they were able to get her up a little bit more and keep the Eclipse rolling, perhaps they could have killed the Bear. Lone Druid would have been stunned by the Phoenix Egg and things would have been a lot better for them, but because Luna just died so early on in the fight without even a Scream, or sorry, a Sonic Wave or an Enigma ulti, like OG have just been in a pretty bad position in these fights.
Yep. Actually amazing how much control they, like, it looks like they're giving to Universe when he walks in. It's like, we're not going to go into a fight unless like he's purged up or held back or Rubik's in a really great position to just stop him. That's probably the other thing to keep in mind too. Jirax going into the 25-minute mark will be having his Blink Dagger. So these fights that EG are looking for, there's going to be potential Black Hole steals as well as interruptions.
The thing is, he hasn't even been forced to cast Black Holes yet, so that's a very worrying part. Yeah, you can turn it around, but if you don't need it to win the fight, then he's not under any pressure to cast it when the Rubik's missing.
I would say forced, but I don't think they'd ever be in a real good position for it either, or it's even been necessary. Top tower dying very, very quickly. Multiple Arteezis, 2 for the price of 1. Quick and easy push onto the top tower.
Yeah, some items coming out. Sumail has his Lincoln Sphere coming out to him right now. Universe completed the Greaves. Pretty useful for getting rid of Cold Snap or some other spell that's probably going to try and destroy you. One build that we've seen not too much of is actually the Legion Commander Blink Rush. A lot of times you'll see them go Armlet first, and I think that they don't actually have a good frontliner right now. Like Lone Druid Bear just identifies the weak heroes and you just start ripping them apart. Whereas like OG, they don't really have anyone that can stand in front, provide them vision, so that the Luna can actually do her damage. This is why you'll usually see like a more tanky build on the Legion Commander. Armlet in particular.
He needs to get out of here right now. He was so close. He's 1 gold away. Actually, for a split second, he had enough to buy his Blink Dagger. And then EG snuffed him out.
Roshan, here we go.
They can be quick about this. Atizi switching.
Yep, forgot to cast his Battle Cry.
Here they come. OG looking back in. So they try and do it with just Arteezy plus the conversions. It's not really working for them, and the Tornado flies through. Able to pick up the Queen of Pain as well. And they realize, yeah, they're being watched. The Observer Ward gets dewarded. And EG are already backed out.
They're way more comfortable with the pace of the game right now. Like Enigma still not really under that much pressure, just providing artillery from the back line with the help of the Eidolons, Midnight Pulse, and the Greaves. And then Slaughter is really close to his Blink Dagger. Actually, is coming out on the chicken right now.
Yeah, it's taking a detour. Mjolnir rest money is there now for Arteezy.
And look at this Observer Ward near the Radiant Ancients. They're like right under it. So EG can kind of just play around the map right now, split push out the lanes, wait for OG to split up a little bit, maybe get another crack at Roche. Roche is still quite low at 50%. Looks like No Tail scouts it out, and are they going to think about doing it? Yes, they are.
I'll give it a shot. Put Alacrity onto No Tail, so the quick buff up is there. And EG aren't really in the greatest position ever. Arteezy's too far away. He'll have to run down. The Dire are actually scanning at the moment. I'm wondering if OG's coming up, but OG is still having a crack at Roshan, down to 1/3. Crit will now have to scout in. Shadow Poison's there at the same time as No Tail gets stunned. The lightning shielded bear runs forward, and OG want to back up.
Yeah, he has Mjolnir already. That's a really bad sign for OG. They probably actually need
the jump, the crush! 3, the Sonic Wave hits 4! Sumail going in, going hard. He's already got 2. Disruption of the back lines. It's the Luna coming out, the Eclipse, but No Tail rooted up. 3 heroes down for OG. The perfect crush. Zai revealed his Blink Dagger for the first time. And he stuns more heroes than he does with Centaurs.
that Observer Ward.
S4, duel, he starts over on the SD, the crutch is there, S4, the Blade Mail won't protect him, into the Nova, but Zai, he's burning out, but not fast enough. OG will lose everybody, all 5 heroes gone, plus the Aegis, held in the hands of EG.
I really like the strategy to deal with the Luna, though. They have a lot of things to deal with the Luna. They can counter her team fight with the Enigma, and then they can also deal with the Eclipse with the Bear. Like, the Bear is just super tanky. 2700 HP. You can soak up all the Eclipse Lucent Beams and not die. And on top of that, you have a hero with way longer range than the Luna. Sometimes you'll see Sniper picked up as a response to Luna, but the Lone Druid is just able to attack, and Luna can't dish out any damage at all with the Glaives.
And it's amazing how hard he's hitting.
So Sumail gave Jerex a spell finally, Scream of Pain. Not the best spell for Rubik, but still better than nothing.
That's what he was using in the mid lane when he's trying to farm up his Blink Dagger. And EG started to really gain control of this map.
Arteezy's also split pushing out the lanes with the Mjolnir on the Bear. It's kind of like Radiance on the Bear. You don't actually have to be there to do damage, so that's another cool way that you can utilize the strengths of Lone Druid without playing him the old way.
Nice guess, Zai. No one's going to be there, though. And goodbye to the tier 2 tower. Conversions plus Arteezy sitting on the back. These tier 2 towers don't stand a chance, and OG don't really stand a chance to get themselves into a good position to try and defend these outer objectives.
And Legion's still sitting at 30 damage. He had 20 damage very early on into the game, but OG just have not come up with any teamfight victories in quite some time. 11,000 gold lead for EG. What are OG going to do? What is their next maneuver? How can they actually win a team fight and get themselves back in this game?
It's got to be pickups, right? But you don't, like, even if you go in for like the Blink Duel with Blade Mail, you've only got 2 points up in Exort, so the Sunstrike damage isn't that high.
And it's very hard to get the Queen because she has a Lincoln Spear, so that can't be your target. Slardar is just with his supports constantly. Buddy system is it should be enforced. Yeah. And then
EG just have to 5-man, they win.
Yeah.
Unless they can separate, like unless OG can split them up.
Maybe Ana can pull off some split push powers. We've seen Invokers in this position do it before. You just split push constantly.
But that's when you have BT Invoker too. He's still walking around with face boots.
Yep, that is true. So it's not the best option, but it might be the only option available to them at this point because they just keep losing team fight after team fight, losing towers, about to lose shrines, losing Roshan. It's grim all around.
Yeah, they're already pinging for the shrine. They can move over. RT doesn't need a lot of help for this at all. So if VG does have some kind of intention to defend that bottom tower, they could do so. But G-Rex is already TPing back out, so this push is not going to go much further from OG.
Maybe they can scale a little bit later if Phoenix actually manages to pick up his mind. It's just the space that they can farm is just so limited at the moment. RTZ can kind of farm both camps up, second shrine's about to die, and OG are going to be confined to their base.
With no shrines to TP out, that's exactly where they are. They have to keep the push going somehow. At least this isn't a best of one, so even if this game does go awry, they have another game to potentially back at EG. And if that goes wrong as well, hey, you can win the lower bracket matchup against Faceless and come back in for the best of 5 grand final. It's always a second chance.
I think they want to win this game, Toby.
I believe they would also prefer that approach.
Can't get too far ahead of yourself.
But maybe that's the way to beat EG, right? Like actually let them get through the winners bracket one time. And then OG do what they do best. The fight from the lower bracket. What they did at Frankfurt Major. Yeah, it's a thing. Alright, so we just need Ruby to get back into the game and we can continue. Now it does look a little bit grim for OG.
Yeah. If the game ended right now, we could see like damage done at the end. I think that Luna, this would be like probably one of the lowest Luna games that you see in terms of damage. They're just able to focus and kill her way too quickly in every one of the fights. She doesn't have a Manta yet to dispel the corrosive haze. Legion Commander is not really able to get in there and tank anything. S4 just melts.
Oh, there goes your last shrine. I suppose that she's still hanging around in the tree lines. Trying to keep this push going.
Yeah, Zai's kind of looking for him as well as Sumail, knowing that they need to do some sort of these shenanigans to try and stall the game out and get much larger.
Well, thanks to that Radiant Obs. Okay, there it is from S4. Quick overwhelming odds and TP away to safety, trying to get a little bit of time wasted from EG, but Zai saw it and looks like he doesn't really care.
It's gem time for crit.
Alright, so there's no vision time for OG. They have one Observer Ward, currently watching the front of Roshan. That's only going to last another 20 seconds. And that is actually their last Observer Ward outside the base. They have to scout with like dominated range creeps.
That's what you need to do. Luna's also going for the... I thought she was going for Manta, but it looks like she's going to rely on perhaps the Legion Commander to get rid of the Corrosive Haze instead of going for the Lincoln Sphere, so she doesn't have to deal with the disruption in the team fights.
Out of interest, who needed the second courier? Either that or this is a bug. And they're just standing on top of each other.
Looks like 2 couriers.
Yep, it's definitely not a bug. It's 2 couriers. And the Aghanim Scepter in Piranha.
Yeah, they don't have BKBs yet on the Dire side, so Ana can still do a ton of work in the team fights. Deafening Blast plus the Supernova is an incredibly good combo together. Looks like they're huddled up. They want to smoke up.
Universe are going to try and negate a lot of that magical damage too. Already finished up the Hood of Defiance, and that Pipe of Insight is next on his list. He went for the cooldown reduction as well, so no huge amounts of gold flooding into him.
Cooldown reductions, I think, just almost always better though. I mean, if you really want gold, you can go Midas with the cooldown reduction, but he has so many activatables that the cooldown reduction is really nice. Even just Blink to get around for farming is probably going to improve your GPM. Fly and No Tail in the top lane, trying to split push out the lanes. They just constantly need to buy time with whatever hero they can. Legion Commander on the bottom side, Invoker in some of the other lanes, and now we have those two on the top lane.
As they just wait, Radiant scan in case someone is walking up, but no one's there. Anna's holding in the mid. G-Rex is very timidly pushing out through the bot.
And Crit has almost dewarded all the wards. There are 2 observer wards left for them. One in the top lane kind of protecting No Tail, and one in the bottom lane near that bounty rune.
So they're trying to put it in every place that you're expecting, like, not to go. Which right now, like, Chris has been focusing pretty heavily on just mid and top lane pressure.
They kind of got a feel for where they are right now, but I mean, Ichi's okay with this. They're not farming that much, but they're still farming enough. They're farming the ancient creeps and all the lanes, and they can just wait for the Roach if they want to siege. Another benefit about the Lone Druid having this super long range build is that you can siege towers from downhill and
Flying
from
crit.
outside of tower range.
Say hello to each other. That observer was down, No Tail. TP's out just in time. I actually saw the camp like keeling over as he walked around it. React fast enough to find Luna.
There is an invisibility rune on the Enigma. Perhaps they could make a gank with this. OG, no gem, no real reason for them to carry a gem right now. Very few sentry wards placed around the map, so this could potentially be a kill. I think for the Invoker, you would just straight black hole him if you saw him. And looks like they will not run into each other. Universe may catch a glimpse of S4, but he will not.
S4 is already retreating.
Yep. They just narrowly miss each other right there.
It's amazing how weird Enigma looks when he goes invis. You remove its ripples and just see a singular leg. Some mail is advancing so quickly. He's got a vortex. He's got the little vortex. This little thing.
Not what my leg looked like, Toby.
Well, you aren't a god. No matter, like, you
Swirling vortex. That's kind of cool. I do like the remodels though. Notice Sar's been picked a lot more since the remodel too. People like playing nice to look at heroes.
if that was the case, there'll be a hell of a lot more Enigma than just Yao 8.
It's banned all the time.
Life is hard. Observer and Sentry. Down for OG, they've got really good vision. They're looking for their opening with the disruption up. Universe jumps in! There's your 3-man hole with a Sonic Wave! A triple kill perfectly for Samael! Arteezy will finish off Fly. And OG, they are in a pickle.
Now it's some godlike reflexes from Shadow Demon disrupting Legion Commander as he blinked in, and Universe, he got the black hole that he was looking for. He just needed to get the Rubik, and that he did.
He really, really did. This mid tower, it doesn't last long. Universe with a blink into the stun. They have to trigger off the shrine just to give Fly that little bit more sustain. But the melee racks, it just can't withstand this. And now they go again. Crit setting up on the target. They look for No Tail. They slow him down with a purge. No Tail throws out the ultimate. The Eclipse, he's still going to tick out. Crit's there with a big stun. This should be it. OG's losing way too many. And EG still have a full army inside the OG base. Samael jumping in deeper, press the attack is off. Sunstrike gonna hit its mark. Samael, disruption is there. He's still got a lot of life up his sleeve, wants to blink away. Zion for the crush, the duel has begun. Samael is locked in, but he actually becomes a winner. You can't even win your duels on this front. No Tail being brought down by Arteezy, and there it is. The GG call comes out. Evil Geniuses take game 1 against OG.
Taking Luna's a trap. Arteezy's just fountain camping them. That's ridiculous. Yep. Lone Druid, man.
I don't even just want to put that down to the Lone Druid. Samael on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah,
his
Samael
timings
destroyed.
on his burst damage were right on point. That first Blink Crush as well that came out from Zion, the first reveal, the Blink Dagger. Another critical timing for them. But I definitely agree with you with the Lone Druid. He pushes like a beast.
It seems to be a very